years. And the weird thing is, it started by accident. There was an emperor sitting in a city called Constantinople that became Istanbul. And he's in effect one of the last Roman emperors. And he was getting very stressed because his kingdom was being eaten from all sides, from the west, from the north, but particularly from the east. There was a new Arabic culture full of energy that was rapidly eating up all his lands. So in 1080, he wrote a letter to the Pope asking for help. And what he expected were a few hundred highly skilled fighting men to come and sort his army out. But the Pope had other ideas. And he took the letter and he went around Europe and stirred the whole of Europe up to such an extent that instead of a few hundred fighting men, 60,000 people left their homes. That's men, women, and children, and travelled right across Europe to Constantinople. They caused havoc as they went, because they were looking for food and shelter. And when the first 2,000 of them arrived outside his gates, the emperor realised he'd made a serious mistake. And instead of throwing open his doors to all these people and feeding them, he kept them firmly shut. And his solution was to put them all in boats and shift them across the Bosphorus as quickly as possible. Let the new nation deal with them. It started something that became known as the Crusades, and they were pretty awful from the beginning to the end. But some people came back, and they brought with them brand new things that they discovered. There were new clothes like the kilt, and the turban suddenly became fashionable. And there was a whole pile of new instruments. There was a straight metal trumpet. There's this instrument here, which is almost a direct copy of an Arabic instrument called an oud. And in Arabic, the oud is a lute, so of course we called it a lute. If you want to hear this, I'll play it in the after the main show. I haven't got time to play it at the moment. I'm also not very good. They also brought this back. We call this a Rebec. And Rebecs and ouds are still found right across the Middle East today. In fact, this new Arab culture were also great traders, and they took their instruments with them. And if you look at this and think about Chinese or Japanese instruments, you can see very similar shapes. It goes out of tune really quickly. If the sun comes out, it goes out of tune. If someone closes the door, it goes out of tune. If it rains in London, it goes out of tune. It's not nice. I'll do. So, I'm going to play you a piece from the end of these conflicts, about 1280, and some of you might recognise it. Summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Grow is set and blow with bed and sprinkle the wood anew. Sing cuckoo, yo a blented after lum, no after carvy coo. Bullock starty, book cavati, merrily sing cuckoo. Cuckoo, cuckoo, well sing as the cuckoo, let's wake the dead for noon. That song is called Summer Is a Coming In. It does work sometimes. It's also the first mention in English of the word fart. This is the father of the violin, this instrument, and small violins about the same size were in use all the way through until the 1800s. They were called kits or pochette, pocket violins, and were often used by dancing teachers who could play the tune for the dance and yell at people at the same time.